Hi, I'm Katharine Allen. I'm from Interpret America, and this is InterpreTIPS, where we answer your questions about the interpreting profession. Today, I'm really excited to be coming from the program Indigenous Interpreting Plus, where I am working on a 60-hour training for training Indigenous interpreters, which is actually being sponsored through the generous sponsorship of the Natividad Medical Foundation. So we're here at the training, and we thought we would take advantage of who we have here so that we can answer a question that is very difficult for many hospitals' interpreting programs. What do you do when a patient arrives who speaks only an Indigenous language and you don't know what the language is? So I'm going to hand today's InterpreTIPS over to Victor Sosa, who's Director of Indigenous Interpreting Plus, and one of the interpreters, Brigida Gonzalez, and they're going to talk us through what it takes to correctly identify a language from a person who's speaking an Indigenous language.
It is understandable that for providers, language identification is a challenge. In Mexico alone, there is 68 different languages, of which there are over 364 variants. So not being able to identify the language then can create delays in interpretation and sometimes not even be able to have the appointment. Brigida, could you please tell us a little bit about your experience?
Hi, yes, my name is Brigida Gonzalez. I speak Mixteco from San Martin Peras, Oaxaca. And when I arrived to the session that the hospital has requested, I talked to the patient and we end up not speaking the same Mixteco. Sometimes we have to cancel, or sometimes they have to give us time to try to reach another interpreter that speaks the same Mixteco as a patient. What the providers don't understand is that there's so many different types of Mixteco. Even though the patient speaks Mixteco, it might not be the same Mixteco that I speak. And so in that time, we have to call another interpreter to find the correct interpreter to do the interpretation for that patient, because I don't feel comfortable doing the interpretation even though it's similar.
So the way Indigenous Interpreting Plus assists the provider is by not only identifying the language, but also identifying the variant. For example, where, what township or what pueblo the person is from, or sometimes even having a brief conversation over the phone or a conference with the patient so that we are able to then determine the language and the variant of the patient.
So thank you, Victor and Brigida, for that really interesting glimpse into some of the challenges that hospitals and patients and providers have in trying to provide language access services to patients who speak Indigenous languages. Indigenous communities are a very fast-growing part of our immigration community in the United States, and these pioneering programs, such as Indigenous Interpreting Plus and other programs that are trying to work for this language access, are very, very important pieces of our profession. So thanks for sharing with us, and that's InterpreTIPS for today. Until the next time.